What's good, my beautiful truth-seeking Earth fam? This is your boy Abner, broadcasting at you from, obviously, outside of Alpha Intelligence headquarters. And I'm just doing an off-the-cuff video because I want to share with you two things. The importance of always leading with spirit in your life. And two, the importance of being willing to make mistakes and learning how to accept failures and learning from those. And those two things connect. So the reason I'm broadcasting at you from in this world of, let's call it a failed experiment, where I'm currently at what I inherited as my family's business, a trucking yard in California. It was my mission to take this business that was run on very earthly means and see if you could adapt it to the movements of spirit, which is more along the lines of value add. If any of you are familiar with the trucking industry, it is very much an old model which is based on taking value. And if you look at the world of this content creation and stuff that's moving and shaking right now, it's kind of a war versus value add mentalities of doing business versus value taking. This industry is very much about taking value. In all honesty, I could not find a good way to run this on an add value model. That was my aim. I started going balls to the wall back in about 2021, and I had a lot of successes. I was able to do things here that I was told was impossible. I was able to get cooperation and teamwork out of certain guys that I was told you just can't do that. You can't hold people accountable. And a lot of these things came from my father, who started the business back in the late 80s, early 90s. And honestly, I took it over and I was kicking ass. We were moving and shaking in the right direction, and then just complication after complication arose. Now, we're going to go to the second point first. I could sit here and make excuses and say that there's other reasons other than my own personal failures why this experiment didn't work. But I have to take responsibility for my own action. Is that first and foremost, it didn't succeed because I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand the dynamics of the business. I'm not trained in any type of business in general. I just showed up ready to work, trusted myself, and did whatever needed to be done. I could sit here and make excuses and say it was the economy, it's the poor work ethic of modern people, it's cheap rates within the industry, it's excessive regulations, and those things are all true. But first and foremost, the reason it failed was because I didn't know how to execute my vision. Now I'm here down years down the line, and I could see where probably I could have made this work had I knew back then what I know that now. It's the classic, regret thing. But ultimately, the system just did not take the programming of love. It rejected it. And I do accept my own failures in this. But what's the point in sharing this all? It's not to boo-hoo about my own personal failures. I accept that I've learned and grown so much from this experience. But what hit me the other day, now I'm the last man standing in the office. Everything's cleaned out. The dream is officially done. And what hit me just the other morning is that I got lost in the physicality. I got lost in the material world of it. I got lost in the hustle. And I failed to trust in the spirit to lead me where this needed to be. And what that did was it made my life a living fucking nightmare for years. My nervous system got fried. I was making it worse with too much coffee, dealing with constant stresses, waking up. The first thing I do when I got out of bed is check my damn email to make sure I wasn't missing an opportunity. I got lost in this world, and I forgot that the whole point of what I was doing was to bring the spirit into a space that wasn't used to having that. And it beat the shit out of me. I mean, I went from feeling the best I have in 2022 after a run of really working hard on repairing my broken body to completely backsliding, falling off to the point where my body wouldn't even respond to the physical techniques I needed to keep myself healthy because I was so stressed out and my nervous system was so fried that I couldn't even get my muscles to relax. So I've been locked up for years now and it's been fucking miserable. And as a consequence, I started damn snacking more, gained some weight, and the problem compounded. And I got to a point where I had to say, this isn't working anymore. What I was aiming at doing is not working. And shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe under different circumstances, or maybe with a different mindset, or maybe if I didn't let fear get the best of me, I could have taken this thing and made it a success. That's neither here nor there, because now we're at the end of the line and none of that really matters. What matters now? What matters now is that I scoop myself up, give myself an honest assessment of where I am, find the path forward, learning from my mistakes, and remember to always orient myself to the Spirit. Now, how do you orient yourself to the Spirit? Well, the way I orient myself to the Spirit is two things: prayer and receptivity. People call it meditation. Not a fan of the word meditation, essentially because a lot of it is more like contemplation, where meditation, you have to take yourself to a point of silence. But here's the thing about getting to silence. Until you work through your shit and the clutter that you've accumulated throughout the course of your life, you can't get silent. And therefore, you won't necessarily be able to hear the guidance as it comes back to you. But here's the thing, prayers are answered. But if you're not attuned to how that prayer is answered in your world, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna think your prayers aren't answered. Prayers are always answered, though more often than not, in my experience, they're not answered in the way you might expect. So you have to surrender your expectations, declutter your thoughts by working through your programming and trauma in order to receive the answer to the prayer. But even more important than receiving it and having it as some type of mental thing that you can just amuse yourself and entertain yourself with, you have to put it into fucking action. This world is action. If you don't put it into action, it's worthless. Nobody cares what your talk is. It matters what your walk is. And the people who fall for talk are honestly a lot of times, you know what, I don't want to be insulting, so you answer that part of the question for yourself. But what do you pay attention to in your world? Someone's talk or someone's walk? That's why I'm broadcasting at you from the place where I have walked through hell over the last few years. And I could sit here and I could boo-hoo, I could shoulda, coulda, woulda, I could still be scrambling and grinding, trying to put back together the broken pieces of a failed dream. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to share my story so that maybe you can learn and hopefully it can help you in your life walk, so that you can find the way to successfully navigate whatever your earthly circumstances are. And I cannot stress this enough. This is something that I've learned and I've known intellectually for years, for over a decade, maybe 2 decades. But to walk it was a completely different scenario. So I encourage you, my folks, walk your talk. And when you fuck up, learn from it and get better. And always connect with the Spirit first. If you connect with the Spirit first and you clear out your shit so that you can hear how the Spirit, the Great Spirit, God, the Most High, Infinite Mind, the all that is in all, the all that is all, if you can learn to tune into that, you will be guided to where you need to be in this life. And even through my walking through hell over these last few years, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I wouldn't rather be anyone else. And coming from a person who was raised to self-destruct, that is huge. No amount of earthly success could top that. I can sit here to you, a person who's battled depression, anxiety, anger, was programmed and wired for failure my entire life, that I can sit here and say, I don't wish to be anywhere else. I want to be more present here. I don't wish to be anyone else under any other circumstances, despite how difficult this was, and it tested me for years to the edge of myself every day. I wouldn't rather be anyone else anywhere else doing anything else. And I want to share that with you, because if I can do that, if I can find a way to make peace with myself, even in the midst of failure, chaos, making constant mistakes, then so can you. And that's what I'm here for. I think I've rambled on enough for this video. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me whether you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm spot on, if you think I'm missing anything. Drop it in the comments, because the way these videos are going to work out very well is with engagement. Right now, I'm just howling into the void my own personal story and whatever I can connect with the spirit to share that might be words of encouragement or inspiration or motivation to provide drive. But the way this is really going to work is if you drop in them fucking comments and tell me your thoughts, positive, negative, or whatever else, and give me what you want to hear about. Then I can open up that conduit that I've learned to bring the spirit energy to you, so that you can open up your conduit and bring it into your world. And I tell you, it's game changing. Lead with the spirit first in all things. This is your boy Abner signing off for the day. I hope you find some value in this rant.